Hello YouTube, it's Supernova, back with more IL2 Battle of Stalingrad. Today we're looking at the BF109 Friedrich 4. Messerschmitt began work on the Friedrich in early 1940. Among the major improvements to the 109 were a higher performance power plant, the Daimler-Benz 601E. Despite its increased performance, the 601E used 87-octane B4 aviation fuel, rather than the 100-octane C3 fuel required by the earlier 601N. With its full rating of 1,350 PS, the Friedrich had a maximum speed of 659 km per hour at 6,200 meters. Its armament consisted of two cowl-mounted 7.9mm MG17 machine guns and a new 20mm Mauser MG15120 firing through the propeller shaft. Self-sealing fuel tanks and improved pilot armour were also added. Frontline units began receiving the Friedrich in June 1941, and during its production between May 1941 and May 1942, 1,800 F4s were produced. We're at Stepnoy airfield in a cold and dark Friedrich. The ground crew has turned the aircraft to face upwind, and as leader of Raven section, we're ready to begin our preparation for flight. As the final inspection before flight, we will check the ease of movement of the controls. First the control column, and then the throttle, and the rudder pedals. We now begin the startup procedure. First, close the canopy using right Alt-C. Check that the canopy is closed and locked. To set the horizontal stabilizer to the tail heavy setting, which is -6, use the elevator trim wheel, which is right shift and cursor up or down. Start the engine by pressing the E key. Engine RPM is displayed on the tachometer. The engine is running at 400 to 500 RPM. Check oil pressure is 6 to 8 kg cm2, and check fuel pressure has risen a few seconds after engine start. We're now ready to start warming the engine. Push the throttle forward to slowly increase RPM to 1000. Ensure oil pressure does not exceed 6 to 8. Check oil pressure is between 4 to 6 for normal operation, and that fuel pressure is between 1.5 and 1.8. Wait for coolant outlet temperature to reach 40 C. We can now run up the engine to test its operation. Hold the control column firmly fully back, and press and hold the rudder pedal toe brakes, or hold down /. Slowly advance the throttle to climb and combat power, which is 2,500 RPM. Check the oil pressure does not exceed 6 to 8. Boost pressure should reach 1.3 ATA at 2,500 to 2,600 RPM. Slowly reduce throttle to idle. Now that we have the engine started, warmed up, and we have completed the run-up procedure, we can prepare for takeoff. The oxygen tank indicates 150 ATA. Radiator flaps are set to automatic. Set navigation and instrument lights as desired with the right control and L keys. The fuel cock is in the P1 plus P2 position. Air screw pitch control is set to automatic. Set the horizontal stabilizer to +1. Master power is in the off position. The fuel gauge indicates the aircraft has sufficient fuel. Pressures and temperatures are within given tolerances. The electric turn and bank indicator is on. The undercarriage indicator is on and green. Check that flaps are fully retracted to 0 degrees and retract them with left shift F if required. Now we're ready to taxi to the runway. Coolant temperature in the outlet pipe must not exceed 110 C while taxiing. If a sharp turn is required when taxiing, the tail wheel lock must be released. Release the tail wheel lock with left shift G. To steer in sharp turns, increase throttle briefly, then reduce throttle and steer with the wheel brakes. When taxiing onto the runway, lock the tail wheel when the aircraft is correctly aligned and continue for a short distance to ensure the tail wheel is straight. To set 20 degrees of flaps, extend them with F until 2 painted lines are visible. Check that pitch control is set to automatic. Hold right rudder to keep the aircraft straight. Increase throttle in phases to climb and combat power until the tachometer reads 2600 RPM and boost pressure 1.3 ATA. To lift the tail, push the stick forward when airspeed passes 60 km per hour. Let the aircraft pick up speed to 250 km per hour. To retract the landing gear, press G and wait for the red lights to indicate the gear is fully up. Retract the flaps fully with left shift F. Note that your speed with the flaps fully down must not exceed 250 km per hour. Navigation lights can be switched off for the flight as desired. Once you rotate the aircraft, keep the pitch low until you reach 270 km per hour, which is the most favourable climb speed. Adjust the horizontal stabilizer to maintain best climb speed until the desired altitude is reached. Note that climb and combat power may not be used for more than 30 minutes. Reduce power to either the maximum continuous or economy cruise setting when possible. Maximum continuous setting is 2300 RPM and 1.15 boost setting, and economy cruise 2100 RPM and 1.0 boost. I hope you enjoyed this video on preparing the BF109F4 for flight and the initial phases of flight service. Feel free to like, comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you again for the next IL2 Battle of Stalingrad video.